Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be helping you decide whether you want to play a rogue in Wrath Classic. These are the topics that we're going to cover. So first of all the new spells and changes, key talent changes, notable glyphs, and also their viability in both PvE and PvP. By the way guys, I have now uploaded a video to my second channel. It's a guide on how to drastically overhaul the graphics of Oblivion with one very simple installer called the Wabberjack. It will install over 200 mods for you in one simple installer, so if you're thinking of doing a little bit of a cheeky replay of Oblivion, please go and check out that video if you are interested. But anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of talking about the rogue in Wrath Classic. So let's blast through some of the new ability and ability changes. First of all, exposed armor, like Sunder armor, is now based on a percentage rather than a numerical value. Evasion is now on a shorter cooldown. In fact, many rogues will be happy to hear that many of their abilities have changed from a 5-minute cooldown down to a 3-minute cooldown. This also includes Sprint on a very nice cheeky 3-minute cooldown. Shiv has been changed slightly so that the poison or the Shiv attack is no longer a critical hit. Sap doesn't just work on humanoids anymore, it now also works on beasts, demons and dragonkins, but still only on enemies that are not in combat. Feint will now also reduce the amount of damage you take from area of effect effects by 50%. Envenom is also slightly different, so as you know, Envenom does consume your deadly poison stacks on the target, but then once you've done that, it will increase the chance to apply deadly poison after you've used it, and will also increase the frequency of applying instant poison for 1 second, plus another 1 second per combo point. We now have a new ability called Fan of Knives, costs 50 energy and instantly throw both weapons at all targets within 8 yards, causing 105% weapon damage with daggers and then 70% with all other weapon types. Mutilate no longer requires you to be behind the target for you to use it, but still also requires daggers. Hemo is slightly different now, it will do increased damage with a dagger, 160% rather than 110. Premonition is slightly different, much shorter cooldown, and you can wait up to 20 seconds before those combo points fall off. Riposte no longer disarms, it reduces the melee attack speed of your enemy by 20% for 30 seconds. Prep cooldown has been reduced to 8 minutes from 10 minutes. Adrenaline Rush cooldown reduced down to 3 minutes. And we also have a new insane AoE cleaving ability called Killing Spree at the bottom of a combat tree. It's hard to explain how this works, it's just better to show it really, but you basically jump between enemies every 0.5 seconds, up to 5 times. Your damage is increased by 20% during those attacks, and you can also hit the same target multiple times. And then at the bottom of the subtree we also get Shadow Dance, which allows you to use abilities that you would normally only be able to use in stealth for 6 seconds, and that's on a 1-minute cooldown. And lastly we have Tricks of the Trade, very simply transfers the aggro you make to the person you put it on and also increases their damage. Let's go through most of the most notable talent changes, starting with the Assassination Tree. So we've got this new talent called Blood Spatter. It's going to increase the damage of Garrote and Rupture by 30%. And then Vigor has also been moved up the tree, so the other specs can kind of off-spec and pick this one up. We have a new talent called Overkill. While you're stealthed and for 20 seconds after breaking stealth, you regenerate 30% additional energy. Deadly Brew, whenever you apply instant, wound or mind-numbing poison to a target, you also have 100% chance to apply crippling poison. Master Poisonous changed a lot, increases the crit chance of all attacks against the targets you have poisoned, reduces the duration of poison effects on you by 50%, and then gives Envenom a 100% chance to not consume deadly poison. Turn the tables, whenever anyone in your party or raid blocks, dodges or parries an attack, your chance to critically hit with all combo moves is increased by 6% for 8 seconds. Cut to the chase, Eviscerate and Envenom will have 100% chance to refresh Slice and Dice to its maximum duration. Then at the bottom of the tree we have Hunger of Blood, increases all damage caused by 5%, requires a bleed effect to be active on the target while you use that though. Now in the combat tree, the Dual Wheel spec talent has been moved to the top of the tree again. Great talent for the other specs to pick up when they're off-specking. Lightning Reflexes now not only adds dodge chance, but also 10% melee haste. Vitality has been changed to increase your energy regen by 25%. Nerve of Steel now reduces the damage taken while under the effect of a stun or fear effect by 30%. Got a new talent called Throwing Spec, which increases the range of your normal throw and deadly throw by 4 yards, but also causes your deadly throw to be basically a kick, which is pretty cool. With a talent Unfair Advantage, whenever you dodge an attack, you strike back for 100% of your main hand weapon damage. Then Prayer in the Weak, your crit chance is increased by 20% when the target has less health than you, but it's based on a total health percentage, so this will work, obviously, on bosses. Relentless Strikes is now at the top of the Subtlety tree, again for people to off-spec into another spec. Now, to be honest, a lot of the Subtlety talents, they've just been moved around and percentages changed. They're not that incredibly different until you get further down. We have a talent Waylay, which causes your ambush and backstab to unbalance a target, which increases the time that it takes for their melee attacks and rage attacks by 20% and reduces their movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. We have Filthy Tricks, which is a great cooldown reduction talent and also reduces the energy cost of abilities as well. And then lastly, reduces the cooldown of prep by 3 minutes. Honor Among Thieves is also pretty cool, especially when you're in arena, so whenever anyone in your party crits with a heal or a damaging ability, you have a 100% chance to gain a combo point on your current target. And then Slaughter of the Shadows reduces the energy cost of backstab and ambush by 20 and the energy cost of Hemo by 5 and also increases all your damage done by 5%. Now let's talk about some of the more interesting glyphs for the rogue that will be coming when Wrath launches. First of all, Glyph of Cloak of Shadows. You take 40% less physical damage. You can get the damage of Fan of Knives increased by 20%. Glyph of Garrote's kind of interesting. It reduces the duration of it, but also increases the damage it deals by 20%, so the dot is way more bursty. Glyph of Prep can also cause it to reset the cooldown of Blade Flurry, Dismantle and Kick. Glyph of Sinister Strike, 50% chance to add an extra cheeky combo point. Glyph of Sprint, increase your movement speed of Sprint by 30% to the point where it's actually, well, it'd probably be running faster than an actual mount at that point. Glyph of Vigor, you can get an extra 10 maximum energy when you have that talent equipped on your character, so you get 120 energy. Minor glyphs now. Blurred Speed enables your sprint to allow you to walk on water. Safe Fall increases the amount of distance that the Safe Fall ability will work, so basically just take less damage from fall damage. Glyph of Vanish, increase your movement speed by 30% while the Vanish effect is active. Pretty useful PvP talent considering that is just a minor glyph. And then Glyph of Picklock, bit of a quality of life improvement. You can reduce the cast time by 100% to make it instant. Now, the last and most important question that many people are probably thinking by now is, well, is the rogue actually any good? And in my opinion, they're just an absolute top tier class in every element of the game for the entire expansion. You really cannot go wrong with a rogue. It's definitely not like it was in TBC Classic where they're slow out the gate and they're not that great in the first 2 phases and fall behind the other DPS. That is not going to happen. You just have to change spec. In phase 1 and 2, so Nax and Ulduar, most rogues on private servers, they prefer to go for assassination since rogue combat spec is a spec that scales. So it requires gear for, it to start pumping, and then it starts to scale incredibly well with gear. And most people actually regard Assassination to be the best single target DPSer in the early phases of the game. And they also don't need incredibly great gear to start pumping. They can get like blue daggers off the auction house and just destroy the meters. And when it comes to PvP, I mean, it's a rogue. So it's the same old story really, and they're an absolute god tier class in PvP, especially in comps like RPD or RPS. You have lots of great utility. The DPS is more bursty now rather than sustained, so you have to rely on, good CC chains, good setups, and your utility to, set up kills. And obviously you can also now use stealth abilities while not in stealth with the ability Shadow Dance. And overall they have a lot more maneuverability, even more than they had in TBC Classic, and it always feels like that they just generate combo points much faster now. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video there. Please take the time to check out my second channel, you'll find that in the description down below. But anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. To my next video, ciao.